Well, hello there. Welcome to my very first recording for maybe the YouTubes. We'll have to see if I have the balls to put it out on the internet. But yeah, and I'm looking a little bit wonky now, and that's because you're looking up to me. And this here is my ceiling, and the phone is placed in such a way that it can record a piece of paper, which I will use to explain my ideas. Yes. Hello. Goodbye. Yeah. I could not change the camera in real time, so I had to pause and restart the shoot. And as you probably have noticed, English is not my first language. It's the second language. And yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, I'm a little bit shy because I kinda, I'm not sure why I'm shy, but I'm worried about my reputation, and making a move like this is kinda, yeah, you kinda have to be used to being public. So, but I kind of feel that that what I have to say is quite important, and yes, because what I do is I'm a collector of thoughts. So I listen to what other people say, and I collect and I remember all the things that I think is true. My father is a collector of things, so he collects things that he thinks is beautiful, but what I collect is thoughts that I think is beautiful, and I put them into this logical framework, which I want to explain to other people. So the reason I want to make this video is to explain things that are important to us as a society. And yeah, and I know this sounds a bit megalomaniac and la la, but yeah, you have to decide by yourself if you think that, what you think about my thoughts. And yeah, many of the things I say is a bit triggering, because I like to think about like the foundation of our reality, or our understanding of society. So I'm kind of a philosopher that my main focus is about like the core thoughts, or like the core beams in our society, and yeah, they're like the core motivation. So yeah, the foundation of our society. And this video is going to be about, and I'm shooting this from memory. I don't have any notes, and I probably should have some notes, because I'll probably waffle a little bit, as I'm doing now. I'm waffling, but when I start explaining, I think I will get on track, and yeah. But I have to think a little bit, so you have to excuse me when I'm thinking, because I'm a little bit, what do you say, self-conscious. And talking about being self-conscious kind of helps the self-consciousness. Okay. And the first video is going to be like an extremely not political correct video. And well, I don't know, but it's about the difference between men and women, and I feel like there's an imbalance in society, like the energies between, because you have a male energy in society and you have a female energy in society, And in Norway and in Scandinavia and in the West, I think, it has become an imbalance in this energy. And yeah, so, and people are not aware of, and I think people are being ruled by the instincts. And when people are ruled by the instincts, they don't think about how the instincts are damaging the society, or it can damage the society. Because when I think about society, I think given time. So I picture how things can become into the future, given how we think today. And this is related up to the imbalance, or less of people know that people could be more aware of how the instincts work, and how those instincts can affect society. Because so what we want to try to avoid is system collapse. Like the society breaks down. We would like to avoid that. And you can measure if we are heading towards a system collapse, if the police force, or like if people don't want to become police. So police. So if people don't want to become police anymore, then you're kind of heading towards system collapse. And in Sweden, this is what's happening. Like, Sweden has to import Norwegian police, because in Norway we have an excess of police officers, but in Sweden there's the opposite of excess. So they don't have enough police officers, and that's because parts of Sweden is struggling. So parts of Sweden is struggling, and that makes it unpopular to become a police. I think that's my suggestion, or my claim. That's my claim. So how do you get to this situation where you are? How do you get to this situation where people don't want to become police because it's such a struggle? It's such a struggle to be a police officer in Sweden, and I would say that's connected up to people's instincts. And then you're like, what do you mean instincts? And because our instincts kind of affects how we vote, so our voting pattern. And and men and women have different instincts, because we, like, men and women are kind of similar in many ways, but men and women have different chromosomes. So women have XX chromosome, and men have XY chromosome. So they're women or men. So we each have different chromosomes, and so it's kind of drastic. So I would say there's so men have 12% less genetic material than women. Or is that correct? My math is kind of sucky. So this is 5% less. Okay, I suck at math. Embarrassing. But 25. Yeah, whatever. But the point is that we lack this part here. So men have less genetic material than women. I was kind of thrown off by this math mistake, but whatever, power through. But the point is that we are different, and so women can. The thing with women, they are they can produce other humans. They can have children. They can have children. Men can't have children because men are men and women are women. So women can have children, and because women can have children, they're wired differently. Their system, on average, is wired differently. They have to become more patient. You have to become more patient because children, they demand a lot. They have high demands. They have high demand, especially when they're young, below 3 years old, or below, when they're infant. They scream and they want attention now. They scream and scream and scream and they want attention now because they want food and they want sleep, but they want food. And if they don't get food, they scream. Or if they're unhappy with something, they scream. So, and screaming babies can be extremely annoying because our whole system is designed to take care of a child, and we are get really upset if a child is unhappy because our whole system is designed to take care of children. But women are geared more towards being patient with children because children are they place high demand on the woman because the woman has to feed them, and a child can be extremely dependent on the woman. So the child can for 24/7, the child wants to be with the woman at all time for a year or two. So, and women that doesn't have, or women that doesn't have had a child or is inexperienced with children, they don't understand this, and it can be quite a shock when a woman actually gets her first child and she discovers that this child has such a Okay, so Siri is trolling me here. So Siri is reacting to my voice and it's annoying me. Stupid Siri. Not Siris in general, but Apple's Siri. Okay, so there's high demand on women because of children. So women has to be more patient. And that kind of wires women. So women then have a different, the nervous system is different, because women are designed by nature, because they have XX chromosome. They're designed by nature to become more patient. And also a trait of women is to share food, because of children. They don't want children in general to die, and then they're wired to share food. Women are designed to share food. Men are designed to find food, like to go out in the woods and find food. Because men's role in nature is to feed women when they have children. So a woman that's carrying a child is incapable of doing much, because the child is there with her 24/7 and it needs her. So the woman is incapacitated to move and do stuff. So a woman is dependent on a man to find food. And men are designed to be protective of food. Be protective of the food. So we don't want to share food. The food is ours. We have gone out to the woods and actually hunted down that elk or moose. We have killed the elk and moose, and we brought it home to our woman, to feed our children. So men don't want to share food with other women or other children, because lack of food is critical. But women, they kind of see that, okay, if we share food with maybe other people in the tribe, then when maybe our hunt is not as good, maybe because we have been kind and had been sharing food with other people's children and with other people, then maybe they will share food with us back again. So women have this instinct of sharing stuff. And this is all okay, like sharing food is okay, especially in smaller tribes. Sharing food is okay in small tribes, because then you know all the people in the tribe. This is a bee. So it's okay to share food in small tribes, because you know them, and yeah. So a tribe is a collection of people that take care of each other, because we as humans, we as humans are not as strong by ourselves, but we are quite strong in a group, like 20 to 30 people or maybe 100 people. We're strong in a group. And so this is our our base, our core patterns of behavior. Because the reality is about having children and raising them, to creating new generations. If there are not any new generations, there won't be any more humans. So if we want more humans, then women and men has to go together to produce children, and women has to be patient with the children, so they don't murder them. Don't murder your children. And to do that, you have to be patient, because children are really annoying when they are small, because they're really high demand. They want food now. So you have to be patient. Okay, and you also have to be inclined to share food with other people. The problem here with the system collapse problem with system collapse arises when in a big world, because in a small world where you only have small tribes and small villages, sharing food is okay, but the issue is that there's like really quite a lot of people on the earth. So like so this is 7,000, and again I suck at maths, but I know that this is 7,000, and this is 7 million, and this is 700 millions. 700, and this, I think this is 7 billion. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the point is that there are 7 billion people on the planet Earth. This Earth is, yeah, this Earth. That's the moon. Woo, moon. Moon. And this Earth. And here there's like 7 billion people. And in the world, like 10% of those 7 billion, 10% of them, they want to move because they live in a poor place. Like they're poor, and they want to move to a different place. So if 10% of 7 billion wants to move, that is like 700 million people. Again, a second math. Okay, so it's like yes, this looks right. 700 million people want to move. Okay. And so Norway, we are like 5 million people. So like the whole of Norway is like 5 million people. So even if like a percentage of a percentage of a percentage wants to move to Norway, Norway has system collapse, because so many people can't just move into Norway, and because there's difference in culture. Like people have different mindsets, and people value different things. So you have culture. So, because like the world here has many countries. And the reason we have many countries is because we have had wars. And the reason we have wars is because people have different points of view. Like, if everybody thought the same, there wouldn't be wars. And so, and because we would just be one big country then, the planet Earth. But since there are like limited resources, there are like limited resources due to different options, or due to different things. We have limited resources, and people have to agree to disagree. And to have peace, people have to be separated. Because if you have if two people have radically different points of view and you try to stick them in the same room, they will start to argue. So the best thing to do with two people that have radically different opinions about things is that you place them in different rooms and make them interact less. The best thing is if you can like smooth the differences over and they can understand each other. So the best thing is an understanding. Because if people understand each other, then you can still disagree, but the probability of a war is less. But yeah, but we aren't there because people have different cultures. They have because they have different points of view. Those different points of view create a culture, and culture are grouped into countries. And the issue here is that if you want to have people with a radically different culture and you want to mix them if you want to mix people from radically different countries, then you get situations where the police don't want to be police anymore because people from different culture create local wars, like they torch cars and they do bad stuff and they throw rocks at the police because maybe those people from a radically different culture don't respect the people there by different reasons. People that have a feminine energy, not necessarily women, but people that have a feminine energy, and feminine energy is about sharing food. And you want to share food with the whole of the world, the 7 billion people. That maybe isn't such a good idea, because if you want to share food with the whole of the world and you want the whole world to come into your country, then it's just, if you just say a little bit that, okay, some people can come in, like just if you have 10,000 people into a new country is like a strain on the country. And then that's just a percentage of a percentage. And if you want to have 500,000 people into your country of a 500 million, that puts a large strain on the country. But people's voting pattern is, as I said, I think ruled by the instincts. And the instincts is to share food. So they want to share your resources with random people, because random people in the world are struggling. 10% of them are really poor and they want to move. But if your solution is to have all of them, if you want to invite all of them into your country, then you get system collapse. And again, you measure system collapse by the amount of people that want to be police. And in Sweden, we are seeing that they don't have enough police. Swedish people don't want to be police anymore because police gets rock thrown at them and are brutalized on the streets. It's dangerous to be police in Sweden. And this is again due to women want to share food. So we have to become self-aware. Self-aware. This is like the most important concept of them all. We have to become self-aware, and we need to become more protective of our food, of our resources. That doesn't mean that we won't try to help those 10% of the world that are struggling, but we should probably try to find other solutions than inviting them into our country. Or when we can have a really small amount of people come in, like say 1,000 people or 10,000 people, but we can't have more than that. Because if you have more than that, then the difference in culture will bring the country down, system collapse. Because it's like with beers, like you can have a couple of beers and your body, your system can handle the alcohol, the change of culture in your body. But if you have too much alcohol in your body at a short time, then your body dies. You die because you have too much alcohol, you get alcohol poisoning. And a country can have culture poisoning. You get too much different culture into your country, and then your country collapses. And the culture collapses because people with a feminine energy, they want to share food with those 700 billion people, or 700 million people. They want to share food with them, but they don't understand the big numbers because we're only 5 million people. So lots of people that come into a small culture can kill the host quite easily. So that's why we have to become self-aware of our instinct, of our voting pattern. And we need to vote for like strict immigration. That doesn't mean we hate or that we don't are hospitable, or like, doesn't mean that we need to be nice to the people that arrive here. It's important that we are nice to the people that have come here to our culture, and that we treat them well, and that we are nice to them. But we must also be very aware of taking in too many people. So I think now we have to like limit the people that are coming in. We have to change our voting pattern to vote on people that say no to more immigrants. Because if you have more immigrants in our country, then people don't want to become police anymore, and we have system collapse. So we have to become self-aware of our instinct to share food, and we have to override that instinct to say that we need to be more protective of our food, and we need to vote on people that say no to more immigrants. Because if not, again, system collapse. Because of so many people in the world, and if just a small percentage of the percentage wants to travel to your country, then it quickly becomes too much people with a different culture, and then you can start wars because you have such a radical different points of view. So it's really dangerous to not be self-aware of the shared food instinct. Yes. So, and this is kind of, in Scandinavia, this is really like politically not correct, because when you say that you don't want to have more immigrants into your culture, then you're labeled a racist. But it's not about race, it's just about culture, like the way people think, because different cultures are different, and like, if people were the same and respected, if people all were the same, there wouldn't be a problem with the police. So then there wouldn't be a problem with receiving like 100,000, 500,000 people into your small country if there weren't any different in the culture. So it isn't about race, it's about like the thought patterns in people's head. Because there's a reason we have different countries in the world. And the reason we have different countries is because we have different points of view. And you need to separate people with different points of view from each other, because we have radically different religions in the world. People have different things they value. But because of that, you can't just mix people in. But in today's society, people think that everybody thinks the same and everybody is the same, but that isn't true. And the proof for that is that we have had different countries. And the reason we have different countries is because different points of view, and those different points of view, if they're like strong enough, they lead to wars. So we have to be really self-aware about the instinct to share food, because we can get a culture poisoning. Our country can become culture poisoned, and you measure the poison, the level of poison, by the amount of people that want to become police or not want to become police. So yeah. So I'm sorry if this was triggering and all of that stuff, but this is kind of like the reality. And if you're not conscious of this reality, if you're not self-aware, then we can have system collapse. And it can happen quickly, because if they, like with the Venezuela, like if the government certainly doesn't have, like Venezuela was like a really rich country and they had but they had like policies where the government was supposed to get like hand out lots of money, a lot of people, but suddenly when the oil price dropped, the oil price went this way, the government of Venezuela didn't have enough money to pay out the people, and the whole system collapsed, and just overnight. But people don't think about Venezuela. But Venezuela is actually struggling right now, and because the government suddenly had less money, or they couldn't pay out their citizens. And that can happen to our country as well, because even if we are a rich country now, like things can change. And because maybe if you have a revolt due to a different culture, then so we have to be really aware of the rate of change for new cultures, so we don't get culture poisoning. So the rate of change, so time is here, change is here, so we can't go like this, because then we get culture poisoning. The rate of change needs to be slow. So we need to vote on people that wants to limit immigration. And again, that doesn't mean that we are racists. It just means that we need to be conscious of our culture, because of different points of view that can lead to wars. Yes. Okay. The end. Thank you. Thank you. Oops. You for your time.